So to summarize it for you, 2025 smells like success, soulmates, and severing from anything that does not serve in order to pave the way for what does. Hi all, my name is Haley Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology, and today all things 12 Days of Cosmos Virgo 2025 edition. What the Virgos have in store for the next year ahead and how the Virgos can co-create with the astrology within the next year ahead. 2025's astrology is quite eventful, with all of the outer planets in newer territories of the sky, presenting new chapters that are opening up within the collective. But within this video, we'll be talking about the new chapters that are opening up in your chart if you are a Virgo. Because Virgo, I would most certainly say that you are one of the main characters when it comes to 2025's astrology, which most certainly has both its opportunities and its drawbacks, all of which we will discuss within this video. I want to let you know that this video is part of my 12 Days of Cosmos series, where I'm taking every single sign through their 2025 astrology story, and more importantly, how it is that they can co-create with their sign's 2025 astrology story. If this is your first time stopping by my cosmic corner of the internet, hi, my name is Haley Comet. Something that I'm super passionate about when communicating astrology is utilizing an empowered lens in framing the astrology. I'll always keep it real with you. I know my Virgos will appreciate that, but I always strive to leave you feeling empowered, because astrology is not just about what happens to us, it's about what we make happen with this astrology. So I'll always tell about your transits and the themes that are coming alive from a co-creative lens around how it is that you can work with these energies, co-create with these energies. So if that feels in alignment to you, make sure to check out my other content here on the channel. I do all signs forecasts, as well as a weekly horoscope series called Magic Monday. So if my style resonates with you, I'd so appreciate to have your subscription or any other nudge of engagement that you feel in alignment with. I'm so appreciative of. I want to let you know that this forecast will be the most relevant and the most resonant if you are a Virgo ascendant or a Virgo sun. Now, your ascendant sign or your rising sign forecast will be the most accurate snapshot of the year that you're stepping into. I also recommend listening to your sun sign because I use solar houses within my practice, and that's just another layer of themes that you may experience within this year. You are so welcome to listen to your other placements if you'd like. Some may be relevant from an aspect perspective, and you can see all of that within the 12 Days of Cosmos playlist. If you see that one or more of your signs is not listed yet, just make sure to keep an eye on my channel, because I am posting all through the month of December until all 12 Days of Cosmos are live. So without further ado, Virgo, we have a lot to discuss, so let's go ahead and get into it. Virgo 2025, calling in your soul family. So Virgo, something that you need to know about me is that I too am a Virgo placement. I'm a Virgo moon and Virgo rising. Thus, I'm also someone who appreciates organization. So how I organize these readings is that our first segment is the defining transit of the year. This is essentially a transit that feels the most influential, impactful, and insightful for the Virgos in the astrology that you're stepping into. We will talk about all of the other planetary shifts that are occurring, but this is the one that when you think back to 2025, you're going to think, oh, 2025. That was the year that South Node was in my sign. Because at the beginning of this year, North Node will enter your opposite sign Pisces, and South Node will enter your sign Virgo. Wherever the nodes are is largely where the eclipses are concentrated. Something that's important for you to know is that eclipses do shake things up. For better and for worse, to be quite honest with you, Virgo. And again, it's super important to listen to this forecast in an empowered way, not fretting or worrying about the worst case scenario, as sometimes Virgos are apt to do. It's so important to continue to hold the vision around the best possible way that these transits can unfold for you. But I need to let you know that having South Node in your sign is not always the easiest transit. Now, it could be eventful, it could be exciting. The North Node in 7th house energy, a lot of you are connecting with destined soulmates. You are deepening your bonds. You are deepening your commitments with other individuals. There's lots of beauty ahead, but I want to highlight firstly what you may feel when South Node is in your sign. Because opposite the South Node is the North Node. And North Node is a place of gain, of growth, of focus. South Node is a place of release and loss. And it's not that you are losing yourself, Virgo, but you are releasing a prior version of yourself this year. And that's where South Node transits can get a little tricky, because sometimes there can be certain experiences that you are having that make you question, who am I? Because you are in such an immense period of growth, of evolution. You often don't recognize yourself while you're having a South Node transit. And now for some of you, I just see that you could be getting married this year or meeting someone that you will marry. We'll get into that part in a moment. And when you get married, a version of yourself is released, right? The single version of yourself, you let go of that version. And sometimes there's a grieving process to that. Like some of you could be really grieving your own independence, or who it was that you used to be when you were unattached and you didn't have these family commitments or these responsibilities in relation to this serious relationship that many of you may enter or deepen this year. There's a letting go process of that, of your, maidenhood, of your bachelor lifestyle, whatever it is that you want to think of it. A lot of you are letting go of that. That's just one example. You are simply just stripping yourself of identities that are no longer in alignment with where it is that you're going. And so for some of you, there could be certain ways that you have identified yourself that you are finding as you step into this year you no longer identify with. And sometimes it can make us be like, what is going on? If I'm not this, then who am I? 2025 is the year of you finding out. And to allow yourself to release the grip around how you think you should be or how you think life should be. Because ultimately, we are being guided at this time to prioritize where the North Node is, Pisces energy, which is around having faith in the process and trusting in the divine. And your Virgo placements might be over here like the divine. Well, what time is the divine coming? And what exactly is the divine bringing? And when does divine timing start? Like, some of you like to know the details about the divine, but there is a little bit of a trust fall energy that is alive this year, where you're having to surrender who you thought you were going to be or what you thought life was going to be. And the funny part about it, Virgo, is that as you surrender, a even more beautiful synchronistic version of your life comes alive because you did surrender your tight, white-knuckled grip on how you thought things had to be or who you thought you had to be. And beyond just overall worldview around needing things to be planned and go according to plan and things need to fit into these particular pieces, some of you are stepping into this year in which you are releasing how it is that you used to see yourself and how other people see you. Virgo is an energy that's very diligent. Virgo is an energy that's very humble. Virgo is an energy that can be very perfectionistic. And some of you are going to recognize that those qualities, while they're lovely, while they're laudable qualities in many instances, where they have been holding you back. Let's start firstly with this pressure to be perfect. Because with Virgo in your first house by either actual houses or solar houses, you feel like you need to be perfect. First house has to deal with our appearance. So you might be very particular about how it is that you look, about your upkeep. You might be very particular about your weight, about your physique. And some of you are going to recognize this year, wow, all of this for what? I think it's a beautiful thing to take care of yourself. But some of you are releasing this pressure to be perfect because you could find how much energy it's taken from you. Because I just think of the other pockets of your life that are being prioritized this year. You're investing a lot of energy within your connections and within making memories and things of that nature. And so if you've been in an energy around being very, very hard on yourself and almost feeling like you needed to control and perfect in order to be visible, in order to be seen, that could be something that you are releasing this year, or at least seeing how much of a toll that is taken on you, especially if you were going about this ideal of perfection in ways that were ultimately not healthy. Moderation is always what we ask for. So whatever extreme you have been on in this effort to be perfect, this could be a year in which you are releasing ways of treating your body that have maybe even added to more anxiety, or again, this endless, perpetual hunger for perfection that never fully felt quelled. Because this could have gone in many different ways. I'm seeing many of you could have been really going hard in the gym, but sometimes overexerting yourself, maybe not eating enough. Some of you could have gotten really into plastic surgery or things of that nature, making little tweaks. And as soon as this was fixed, now you're noticing this. And again, there's something around it where it just felt like it was never enough. It was never perfect enough, because perfection doesn't exist. And you'll just find different parts of your body or of your physique or your aesthetic to critique, trying to find this ideal of perfection that doesn't exist. And so some of you are letting that go, but it's creating this weird identity crisis where you're like, well, if I'm not trying to be perfect, then what am I trying to do? Who am I? If I just embrace that the way that I am is enough, where does that leave me? Because for some of you, it just feels like this has consumed a lot of your energy, wanting to look perfect, or at least present yourself perfectly. And some of you are releasing the battle. It just feels asinine. It doesn't feel like a worthy investment of your time needing to project this perfect exterior. And again, you're a Virgo, so mind-body connection is always alive here. I'm always a proponent on treating your body well, on moving your body, on doing the upkeep that feels good. I'm speaking more so if you've been in kind of an obsessive energy, you've been under eating, you've been overworking out, you've been getting all of these procedures, hoping to fix something, hoping to feel perfect. Because sometimes we feel like, well, as soon as I'm perfect, then my life will open up and then I'll be happy. And South Node actually is a very spiritual transit. There's just an energy around, I won't be at the end of my life so grateful that I never ate sweets, ever. I won't be at the end of my life so glad that I got all those procedures for my smile lines. I'll just be thinking about the things that made me smile. And maybe this is not showing up in reference to your aesthetic. This also could be showing up in terms of your identity. The thing about Virgos is that even if your life is in shambles, you had a dramatic fight one night, you will still wake up the next day for work, you will go to work, you will have a nude lipstick on and a blazer, and you will handle what you need to handle. People will come to you for questions. Like, you are somebody who strives to keep it bottled up. You don't always like to show weakness, and by weakness, I mean humanity. Like, again, you feel this pressure to be perfect that you put on yourself. And no one is expecting you to be perfect. And even if you aren't physically doing things to your body or depriving your body in certain ways, stress does a number on the body. And a lot of you have been carrying this stressful battle around needing to present yourself like you are perfect or like you've got it all together. And again, Virgo, I know that you have it all together, or at least you have a lot of it together. But this is a year around finally allowing yourself to be human. And recognizing that no one was expecting you to be perfect all along, that was a battle that you were waging within. And even if you were programmed to feel like if you're perfect, that's the only way that you can deserve love, like I just see that some of you are just awakening to the reality that that's not the case. But what's strange is that even though it can feel liberating to release ourselves from perfectionism, that was still your identity. So that's where the kind of identity crisis of South Node in your sign can come in, because it's like, well, if I'm not perfect, who am I? If I don't have it all together and I actually allow myself to be vulnerable and talk about what's really happening, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Because sometimes perfection can be a mask. It can be a shield to keep people from really seeing us. And just feeling like if I'm only helpful enough, if I'm only efficient enough, if I'm only hard enough worker, then I can't be criticized. Because the thing is, you're very critical of yourself. So you go above and beyond because you don't like to be criticized, or you don't like people to know about the issues of your life, the mess of your life, because you're already hard enough on yourself about them. So I see that some of you are just releasing a battle with self. And while South Node first house can be a confusing time, you could feel a little bit more disconnected to your body. You can feel a little bit less disconnected with your identity. I just see that some of you are shaking up how it is that you see yourself. And that's what happens when you do evolve, when you do grow in new dimensions. What you consider not good enough is other people's perfect. Okay, let me say that. And again, I just see that there could have been all of this pressure putting on yourself that's been wreaking havoc within your body. Stress doing a number on your body, anxiety doing a number on your body. And some of you could be releasing these particular habits that have not been good for you. And Virgo, I want to let you know that you have Jupiter in your 10th house in the first portion of this year. So it is a career year. I would say. A lot of you are experiencing growth, but some of you are releasing certain ways of seeing yourself that has gotten in the way of your career's growth. The first is being humble. I think humility can be a virtue, but with the energy of Virgo, there can be a tendency that you have around wanting your work to do the talking for you. So you don't always put yourself out there for opportunities or talk yourself up in reference to your work, which for a lot of you, what you consider not good enough is somebody else's perfect. And there are people out there doing what you want to do who have a fraction of the talent and expertise that you have because they saw themselves as capable. And again, I just think the way you see yourself is keeping yourself small. Because the energy of Virgo, you view the world in terms of perfection. You're like, well, it's not perfect. I'm not perfect. So I'm not going to put myself out there for this opportunity because what if people criticize me the way that I criticize myself? Better stay small, do things behind the scenes, be a little busybody, because that's the next quality that I see you releasing in order to pave way for this career growth that I see, is this energy of seeing yourself as a hard worker. Your work ethic is a laudable quality. I'm not talking down on that. But for some of you, you are identifying around, oh, I'm always working. I'm a workaholic. I get it done. Because the thing is, when you see yourself in that lens around, I'm always working, I'm always go, go, go. I know who I'm talking to. I know a lot of Virgos are that way. But I want you to look if that's really serving you. If you're so busy handling the day-to-day and the admin and the tasks that you don't have space to tune into the big picture vision, because that's the energy of Jupiter in the 10th house. Where are things going? Where can I reprioritize my energy in order to carve room for where things are going? And where can I release this tendency within myself that I always need to be busy? Again, I feel for some of you, you see being busy as a sign that you are successful, and some of you need to let that go. You need to let that go. Rewrite success in your brain as success is a balanced lifestyle. Success is having time to replenish and rejuvenate my energy source. I do not need to be the one who does all the things all of the time. Because the energy of Virgo, I just feel like a lot of you do more in a work day than most people do in a work month. And you know how you will be rewarded when you are that type of person? You will be given more and you will be working more because you are so efficient and productive. People can trust that you can handle a huge volume of work while still being very detail oriented with it. And I know that's easier said than done. I know not all of you work for yourself and are to skew this, but I want you to know that it starts with you and how it is that you see yourself. So if you see yourself around, I'm a workaholic, or I'm undervalued at work, or they don't see my contributions or things of that nature, start to see yourself differently. Start to see yourself as a leader with Jupiter in the 10th house. And I know the Virgo part of yourself will be like, well, I'm more comfortable behind the scenes, or I want my work to do the talking. They'll notice and I'll be chosen when the time's right. Sometimes you got to make your own opportunities, okay? With Jupiter in the 10th house, you got to put yourself out there. When you put yourself out there, you magnetize the right people that you are meant to work with on the work topic and partner with. Moving into the love topic, because Virgo, with South Node in your first house, you've got North Node in your 7th house this year. And this is about fated relationships. And again, these relationships, these connections, these partnerships, these friends, however these people are showing up, they are coming into your orbit for a reason, for a purpose this year. And it's not something that you see coming. Like I said, South Node Virgo, we are releasing the plan. You might have had a certain plan around, I need to be married at this time, or I need 2 years to heal from my last relationship before I'm open to love. You might have a certain plan. We make a plan, God laughs. That is the energy of North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. We make a plan, God laughs. So God's laughing at your plan. And again, it can feel disjointed when things don't go according to plan. It's like, I had a certain timeline. The universe doesn't operate on your timeline. It operates on divine timing. And a lot of you are going to find that divine timing is even more beautiful and synchronistic than your initial timeline. But it is an important year to have trust and surrender to the universe's timing. Because a lot of you are having new people come into your orbit. And it's soul contracted people who you were destined to meet in this lifetime, come into contact with this lifetime, partner with in this lifetime. Those are the people that are coming into your orbit this year. And these connections do feel serious. I think it requires discernment, which you have been learning a lot about, Virgo. We'll connect on that with the Neptune and 7th house section. It's going to take a lot of discernment. It's going to take keeping your standards high. It's going to take boundaries. It's going to take trusting your gut, trusting your intuition. It's going to take getting clear on who it is that you are calling in and ensuring that you are matching that energy. For the Virgos who want to call in a life partner this year, the cosmos are in favor of this. And again, when we talk about nodes, it's fate, it's destiny, right? It's bigger than us. The souls who are meant to come into your orbit will come into your orbit. But I would encourage you that with Saturn also in this sector, get clear on your non-negotiables, the people that you really would want to build a life with. And then look at that list and make sure you can match that energy and know that that exists and that is out there because you exist and you are out there, right? So if you look at the list and you're like, okay, I'm calling in somebody who, just an example, who is ambitious and who is successful and who is stable, really look at yourself. Am I ambitious? Am I successful? Am I stable? If yes, I'm ready for this person. If no, it's time for me to work on that so I can meet this person's energy when the universe puts them into my orbit. So stay open. And soulmates show up in many different fashions. I do feel some of you are entering into a committed relationship this year or taking the next step in an existing bond this year. Because you've got Saturn in the 7th house, which is the planet of limitations and restrictions. We'll talk about it, but it's also the planet of commitment and standing the test of time. So some of you are having someone come into your orbit that you can genuinely go the distance with, like build a solid foundation. It might take work with the energy of Saturn, and maybe you've already had a connection with this person, and this is a year in which it's crystallized, solidified what it is that you're building. And it's important to widen the conversation and say it's not just romantic relationships, it's any sort of one-to-one. And maybe that's part of the release, is that a lot of you are trusting other people, you're collaborating with other people, which as a Virgo, that is not your territory. To collaborate with someone is a trust fall of sorts. To surrender to somebody is a trust fall. To build with somebody is a trust fall. It's a risk. But life is a risk. With the energy of South Node Virgo, maybe you've always seen yourself as hyper-independent. I can take care of myself and I can do my own thing. You can, but that doesn't mean you need to. I think it's beautiful that we all come to this planet with different talents and gifts and abilities, because in arenas that I'm deficient in, I have people within my life who are good in those arenas, and it encourages us to bond when we don't have all the abilities within ourselves, because then we seek other people to help us build our dreams or make things happen or to build a beautiful family with, whatever the energy is. We are here to connect. And this is a year that you are open to connection. And you could be letting go of seeing yourself as this hyper-independent, I can do it all myself type energy. Which again is a beautiful quality, but sometimes in excess, it can get into a place where you are blocking connection. Now I want to let you know, Virgo, that the eclipses and the nodes are not a guaranteed positive thing from our viewpoint in this narrow perspective of time. And what I mean by that is that eclipses always, even if you don't see it at the moment, eclipses are always for our highest and best good, always. There is no reality in which eclipses are not setting you up for something that is even more aligned, for even better, or just a necessary passage of time. Just experiences that are meant to happen. We can consider it as good at the moment, we consider it as bad in the moment, but overall, it's always going to be something that grows and evolves our soul forward, always. But some of you could have certain people removed from your life this year. And you need to trust and believe that it is for a higher purpose if that does occur. Because for a lot of you, if you are not already with your soulmate or who it is that you are meant to be a life partner with or what have you, this can be a time in which somebody is removed from your life in order to pave the way for your true soulmate or the true life partner that you are here to build with or create something with. And it's important to trust in that, even if it sucks. You know, there could be an energy where you thought somebody was your soulmate. You thought it was going to be this, and the universe snatches them from your reality. And you might be like, what the heck? This is so unfair. You might be mad at God, but North Node Pisces, you have to trust in the divine. Because the thing about the universe is that it hears conversations that you are not in. It is in rooms that you are not in. It knows the crevices of your partner's soul that you are not always privy to. So regardless of how anyone is removed from your life, whether it's an intimate partner, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a friend, what have you, whoever is removed from your life, trust and believe it was for your protection. You are not being rejected this year. You are being spared. And this shows up in many different fashions. And some of you could have had a hint of this because we did have the first Pisces eclipse September 17th, 2024. So some of you might already be filling into these themes, but sometimes it comes alive via our intuition. There's someone that you are with that it just doesn't feel right. There's someone that you are dating where it just doesn't feel right. Something feels off. Maybe even genuine signs are coming into your orbit. You're getting dreams about this person. You're seeing signs about this person. But overall, trust your gut. You know, you are a Virgo, so you have strong mind-body connection. And pay attention to how your body feels when this person's around, when this person's not around. Do you wake up with anxious belly? Do you get rashes before you see these people? Do you have certain side effects that you experience with this person after you spend time with them? Pay attention. As a Virgo, your body is a vessel that's constantly communicating to you. But a lot of times we dismiss it around, oh, I have anxious belly because I'm nervous. Pay attention to the data around what started happening when you allowed certain people into your life. I'm a Virgo ascendant, so I'm in this boat with you. And I remember I allowed someone into my orbit. I was dating this person, and the universe tried so hard to get my attention. And eventually I listened, but it shouldn't have taken as many signs as it did. I'm telling you, the first time that I slept over at this person's house, in their bed, had a dream that I was taking a photo of this person that I was dating and another woman. Taking a photo for them. And I remember waking up and I was like, that was kind of weird. And then I had another dream that I was looking at the person I was dating's Instagram. How sad that I was dreaming about Instagram. And they were in all these photos with a different person. Not even the first girl that I saw, a different person. Like recurring dreams like that. Even when I got home after that first sleepover, I remember I made a cup of tea and I was drinking the tea and there was a spider in my tea. A spider was in my tea. I don't know if it was in the teacup and it poured in or if it was on the tea. I don't know how exactly it worked, but yeah, so I drank a spider right after spending time with this person. I remember this person called me and I was on a hike, and at the moment that I took out my phone to answer their call, I stepped on a garden snake. I stepped on a snake. Like, I'm telling you, the universe was screaming at me, and I could go on for quite literally 2 hours with all of the signs that I was receiving, but I wasn't paying attention to it as much because I had no real life proof to go off. You know, Virgo ascendants, we always want to tune into the proof, and I had no proof that this person really was being shady or really was being sketchy. I kept trying to ignore, and the universe was just louder and louder. I would wake up every morning in the time that I was dealing with this person with a knot in my stomach. I just felt so anxious all of the time. My whole body would break out in rashes before I spent time with this person. Like, my nervous system, my body, my dreams, my spirit was like, girl, run. And finally I did. And I never really had a reason to within reality, but I went purely based on intuition, and I truly am of the belief that I was spared. I don't know why I was spared, and you might not even know why you're being spared. That's the thing. We don't always know why we're being spared or why we are being guided to release ourselves from a certain dynamic. And sometimes we don't need to know. Sometimes the less we know, the better. I'm like, I don't know why I'm being yanked out of this person's reality, but I need to honor it. And even though I don't have like the proof of why I was taken from that person's reality, like I have no idea. I have no idea what that person's up to. I felt so much better after I did it. Like at first, you know, there's a grieving, there's like, oh, I miss this person, what have you. But it was like my energy returned, my creative spark returned, the spark in my eyes returned. And again, who knows what I could have gotten ensnared in had I stayed in that dynamic, if spirit had to be that loud. And so if you are wanting clarity on someone that you are dealing with, you can always command the universe. I learned this from Kaylee Alexa, whose messages from the divine on TikTok. She's a freaking earth angel. Follow her. But this is something she always says, is you could say, command the universe, show me the truth, and snap your fingers. And in 72 hours, the truth will be revealed. Again, it could show up via a spider in your tea. It could show up within stepping on a snake. It could show up in a dream, but the universe will show you the truth. And sometimes you don't get the clarity on why something's not a fit. You just need to move with the knowing that it's not a fit. The right dynamics, you can't help but to fall into them. Like I think about the people that I've been with that were the nourishing, aligned, amazing relationships that I've had. And it was just a flow. a lot of times when things are just like so hard and they feel so weird and our Virgo analytical mind is like, why isn't it working? Why isn't this working? Sometimes you could just take the data for what it is around, it's not working. And listen, I want to be so clear. I'm not saying if you're in a committed relationship that it's always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but I'm talking particularly when it comes to the courting process or looking for a life partner. A lot of times there is a flow. You know that person's intentions, you know how they feel about you. Like, I feel like it's such love and light. But for me, whenever I have had to ask tarot cards or a tarot reader how someone feels about me, that was not my man, okay? That was not my man. Like, I just feel like when it's right, regardless of how you identify, who you're attracted to. When it's right, it's right. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So if you've been in your head in certain dynamics trying to be perfect, and if I'm only more this, then this person will like me, or more this, the right people will love you for who it is that you are. And you can't help but to fall in love with them or surrender into them. Speaking of dreams, I remember when I met somebody incredibly special within my life, I had this dream of this huge wave, and it was crystal clear water. It was so beautiful, and it just gave me the happiest feeling. And I just felt like I was being swept away in a wave because this person's soul was so beautiful. Their compassion was so incredible that I could not help but just allow myself to fall into them. And all I'm saying is that if you've been in a dynamic that's been a little weird, particularly initially it's been very hard, this can be a time to turn to your soul, ask for guidance, ask your intuition to show you the signs. Sometimes you will get the data around why this is not your person. Maybe you'll find the proof that there was another person. Maybe there will be something that happens within their life that you see, okay, I'm glad I was not entangled with them during that. Sometimes you see that, sometimes you don't. And I think sometimes you have to just create your own closure around, all I know is that I was guided to walk away. No matter how much I love you, I love me more. And I'm not settling. That's something I want to share with you because you have Saturn also in the 7th house. So you also are being guided to keep your standards high because the universe wouldn't want you to settle. You are divinely and beautifully and exquisitely designed. And some of you are walking away yourself, as I highlighted. Your intuition is telling you to walk away with the energy of Saturn. You are looking at who you would want as a life partner, and you're recognizing that it may not be this person. Some of you, the universe might make it even easier on you. You might have the person walk away on you. And listen, I know it's not easy. I'm just making a little joke. I know it's heartbreaking and certainly feel your feelings around it. But please know and believe that anyone who is removed and ejected from your life, it is for your own protection. This person is walking away and it is not the universe being mean to you. It is the universe sparing you. Eclipses are fate. Eclipses are destiny. Eclipses are always for your highest and best good. So if someone that you've been in a relationship with, you thought they were your soulmate, they thought you were the one would not walk away from you. All they're doing is opening up space for the one who will stay, the one who wants to build with you, the one who falls in love with the beauty of your soul just naturally. And like I said, sometimes we get that closure and that clarity, sometimes we don't. Like some of you might see people's true colors revealed. Like, wow, that's really how you are. This is really what this is. Some of you, you may not get that information. You could be, ghosted, or someone could walk away without really giving you the reasoning why. You don't need to know the reasoning why. A lot of times, if someone does not want to be with you, it's just an energy around, okay, great. Let me go find the one who does. I'm just kidding. Take your time, heal, process, get clarity, all of that with Saturn in the 7th house. But trust me, fate and the universe is talking to you this year through connections. The people entering, the people leaving. Let the people leave. They are attached to an outdated version of self, and you are releasing the version of you that was attached to these people in order to carve space for the soulful bonds that will accelerate your destiny. Again, some of you are going through this identity crisis because there's this energy around, I was this person's wife, I was this person's boyfriend, I was this person's partner in crime, I was this person's best friend. And that's the identity crisis that you are moving through. But again, now that you've been freed from that, honestly, if it happens during eclipse, that outdated role that you've been playing, you get the space and the grace to figure out who it is that you are now in this next evolution of your life. Welcome it. I know it can be chaotic. I know it can be painful when people's true colors are revealed, when dramatic happenings occur. But please know and believe it is all from a higher perspective, from your highest and best good. When you're in the eye of the storm, it does not feel pleasant. It's hard to just be like, I'm brokenhearted, but I trust this is for the best. But my love, trust me, if somebody walks away from you, if someone shows you their true colors, if somebody is revealed to you by your intuition that they are not your person, ultimately, they are doing you a favor because they are clearing space for what is truly aligned, what is truly going to catapult your soul forward. So North Node will be transiting Pisces and South Node will be transiting Virgo throughout the majority of the year, nearly the entirety. The nodes shift in January. But these themes will be the most present and potent when we are experiencing eclipses. And so there are 3 eclipses that I want to put on your radar. We have 4 eclipses this year, but there's 3 that are enlivening this Virgo and Pisces axis that you are the main character of. We have 1 eclipse on March 29th. That's an Aries Solar Eclipse that's wrapping up the Aries Libra story that's been alive the last year and a half. And while you may have certain themes come alive in that sector of your chart, I want to hone in on the eclipses that you are the main character of. Because there's a difference between having an eclipse story and being an eclipse main character, which is the energy that you are stepping into this year. And as I stated, we did have 1 eclipse that was a bit of a foreshadow for this story. So also just contemplating what could have been alive in your universe September 17th, 2024, that could have sort of hinted where some of this growth is taking place. So let's start with the Virgo lunar eclipse. This lands on March 13th. This is a lunar eclipse, which signals an eclipse that lands on the full moon, a time of illuminations, epiphanies, and reveals in the sign Virgo. So the sun will be in Pisces, the moon will be in Virgo. And of course, it's on the South Node, which signals release and letting go. There may be certain events that transpire at the beginning of March that make it clear where you need to let something go. And again, first house, and again, this is in your first house, which deals with self-identity. And it's not that you are letting yourself go, okay? It just could be that you're releasing a certain version of yourself, and you may gain clarity around this time around what or who in your life needs to go in order for you to carve space into new iterations of yourself and new iterations of your journey. Some of you can have certain themes come up when it relates to your health. Again, nothing scary, but there just could be a spotlight on your body at this time. Some of you could be guided around this time to set certain boundaries. Again, full moon in the first house, there could be an energy around recognizing what it is that you truly want. And with opposition to Saturn, having to deliver that information to somebody else, which sometimes can make it clear around how the two of you can build together, but in other times it can make it clear that we're on different paths. Maybe we want different things, we are different people, and that's okay. I don't need to acquiesce to being someone that I am not in order to fit into a mold. Or even with this energy of Saturn, sometimes we have to do the hard thing, we have to say the hard thing, we have to have the hard conversation. You know, your 7th house is ruled by Pisces, which can be a little delusional, a little bit if we don't talk about it. It doesn't exist. Again, Virgos are so practical about everything except for relationships a lot of times. But this could be a time in which you're really guided to either get clear with yourself. What do I want? What am I calling in? Who am I calling in? Or you may need to be real and honest with someone else around your boundaries, your limits, what it is that you want if this connection is working for you. That could be coming alive here. The Virgo lunar eclipse lands at 23 degrees. So if you have, we'll say 20 degrees to 26 degrees Virgo within your chart, this eclipse will be even more impactful for you. And the next lunar eclipse lands on September 7th, 2025. Full moons are a time of illuminations, epiphanies, revelations, ahas. A lot of you are going to have news or information revealed to you at this time, particularly about who it is that you're doing business with, who it is that you're married to, who it is that you're partnered with. This full moon opposes Mercury, so information could surface, an impactful conversation could surface. And it doesn't need to be a bad thing. Again, it's North Node, so it is something that's helping either the two of you connect, or again, it's either accelerating your path together, it's accelerating your path outside of this connection. Either way, you're not going to lose, okay? And if someone shows you who they are, believe them, okay? With this opposition to Mercury, see the data clearly. Something that's interesting about Virgo energy is that they'll be so practical and pragmatic about so many things, but when it comes to relationships and partnerships, you can have a bit of rose-colored glasses at times. And this is an energy for you to grow and evolve within connections. It's important to see things clearly or talk about the hard things or something of that nature. I just see that this can be a time of deepening. There could be certain celebrations with your partner. There can be a decision made, you know, if this is someone that you truly and honestly want to be with, if you could grow with this person, if you could build with this person. This lunar eclipse lands at 15 degrees. So if you have 12 degrees to 18 degrees Virgo, this eclipse is going to be even more exaggerated for you. And the final eclipse lands on September 21st. It is a Virgo solar eclipse. And this is a new start. It's a solar eclipse, an eclipse on the new moon, but it may be a new start in reference to how it is that you see yourself, how it is that you identify yourself with it on the South Node. This is a time to let go of prior versions of self and know that you honestly and truly are opening up for the new versions of yourself that are yet to be discovered and met. And sometimes in years such as this, we are in the in-between. We are one foot in our new reality, one foot in our old. And it's not always a seamless process, Virgo. So it's important to be gentle with yourself, patient with yourself, loving with yourself, as you are not recognizing yourself nor what your life is turning into, because you are in such an immense growth spurt, truly, of a year. And again, relationships are such a major concentration that drives our growth. As we connect with different people and partner into certain relationships and let go of past relationships, we do meet new sides of ourselves. We do unearth new sides of ourselves. And sometimes we are in that state of in-between around, I don't recognize myself. I miss who I used to be when I was with this person. But you have to give yourself the space to find out. You have to give yourself the space to release yourself from outdated ways of seeing yourself to connect to new sides of yourself that you have yet to discover. This solar eclipse lands at 29 degrees. So if you have 26 to 29 degrees Virgo within your chart, this eclipse will be even more highlighted. So Virgo, you are ruled by Mercury, the planet of thought processing, intellect, communication, hence why you guys are so intelligent and such great communicators. And so in deepening this story that we see playing out within 2025's astrology, we look to what Mercury is up to this year to figure out what you will be up to this year. And we don't talk about Mercury necessarily by way of every single transit, every single sign that it will enter, because it spends time in every sign of the zodiac this year and every year. But what I would like to sharpen into focus is the Mercury retrogrades this year, which are more influential for you because you are ruled by Mercury. So walk with me as we go on a journey of them all and the territories of your chart that they are bringing to the surface. So from March 14th until April 7th, Mercury, your ruler, will be retrograde in the signs Aries and Pisces, which will bring to the surface some very packed houses for you this year, or some houses that have some outer planet activity this year. So you'll want to dial into these life arenas. So it starts in your 8th house. 8th house has to deal with joint finances, support that comes to you from others, things such as inheritances, alimony, spousal support, things of that nature. 8th house also has to deal with debt and taxes. I know, not the most pleasant house necessarily. There's other considerations as well, but I want to start here because with Mercury retrograde, some of you could be reworking these agreements. If you are receiving support from others with the energy of Mercury retrograde, there can be a reworking of them. There can be a revisiting of them, a review of them in some instance. This is tax time here in the US, so I would deeply encourage you to file your taxes before this retrograde begins and not be shady or anything with the energy of Mercury retrograde. Things can come back for a review, or things can have delays, technical difficulties, so on and so forth. If you are married or you have a business partner, you could be really looking at your joint financials, really wanting to audit or get caught up on finances, see where money is going. If none of these themes come to the surface, it may show up with the 8th house sort of energy around. Some of you could be really thinking about shadow work. You know, some of you could be really thinking about intimacy, what it means to be intimate if you are scared of being intimate. You know, we see this with Chiron also in this house. This could be a time in which you're wanting to be open to love. You see that the North Node's in the 7th house. The eclipses are launching you towards love, and interesting to see how these are happening right around eclipses. But there can be resistances, fears around merging deeply, allowing yourself to be seen deeply. And Mercury retrograde could be you coming inward to contemplate why that is and how it is that you can heal that to know that the people that you will connect with next will not be a repeat of who it is that you've connected with prior. Of course, discernment is necessary with Saturn in the 7th house, but this can be a time of really contemplating, where am I scared to go deep, to allow my soul to be seen, to allow myself to surrender into a connection. And then Mercury will enter your 7th house of one-to-one partnerships. So a lot of you are really going to be thinking about partners from the past, making sure that you've integrated all of the data from them. There's something about retrogrades that always remind me of playing computer games. When I was younger, I loved computer games. And there would be times where I wanted to advance to the next level. I was like, okay, bring me to the next level. Bring me to my soulmate, right? In the video game of life, right? Bring me to my soulmate, or I want to step into my committed partner era, or want to get married, or whatever it is. And we can want that, again, on our timing, but we're subject to the divine timing. And I remember when I would play these video games, I wanted to beat the level. And there'd be some times that it just would not let me like leave a certain room or go to the next chapter. And it was because I had not found all the hints. It was Nancy Drew, so it's like spy video game. I had not found all the hints and clues within that room that I was in, or that level that I was in. And for you, this could be showing up around, have you really integrated and healed all of your past experiences within relationships, as well as the stories and the loops attached to these people? This can be a time that you are craving closure from your past relationships in order to open yourself up to people who are in deep alignment with you. Venus retrograde is also happening at the same time. So some of you could literally be hearing from people from your past at this time. And it's not an invitation to jump back to that person, jump back into a connection with them. It's just seeing, have I taken in all the data here? Have I processed all the data? Have I learned everything that I needed to learn from this particular person? And again, it doesn't even necessarily need to be about them. Sometimes it can be around us as well. What did I learn about what I want within this connection? How have I really integrated what this relationship clarified for me? Because again, every single relationship is an opportunity to learn about ourselves, about life. So it's just ensuring that you've taken all that wisdom and data, and you do not need to go back to that person to do it. Like, this is not me saying that you should reach out to your ex at this time. This just could be a time that you are really thinking about past relationships, what you learned about them, cleaning off the debris of your heart to open yourself up to new love. You could even be doing things such as burn letters, writing things down and burning it up, and just really seeking to create your own closure within those connections, to be genuinely open to new love. If you've been stuck in rumination about somebody around, are they going to come back? Or are we going to end up together? Again, sometimes our mind keeps us stuck in certain loops because it keeps us safe from growing, because new relationships can be a risk. And it also keeps you under the illusion that that person is still in your life because you think about them so much. And with Mercury retrograde, it could be this invitation to really free yourself from that, to let go of the people of your past with grace and gratitude, and to be open to new chapters, new people that you haven't even met who will love you. The next Mercury retrograde occurs from July 17th until August 11th, 2025, and this lands in the sign Leo, which is your 12th house. So a lot of you could be doing work beneath the scenes. Like I said, I see a lot of you are shedding any sort of humility that's detrimental. Because again, I think it's a great quality to be humble, I guess, but I'm just seeing for some of you, it's been holding yourself back. Like again, sometimes it helps to be a little, like a smidge, a smidge of delusional to put yourself out there, especially if you are not putting yourself in alignment or opportunities to succeed because you're like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'll wait until this happens, till this happens. You've got Jupiter in the 10th house, my love. Like, you have to put yourself in the pathway of the things that you want to happen to you. So if you want to write a book, if you want to start posting on social media, if you want that promotion, like, this is a time really contemplating what made me feel like it's not safe for me to be seen. Why do I feel like I need to keep my light hidden? Because you've got the sign of the sun tucked away in your hidden house, 12th house. So a lot of you are really contemplating, why don't I feel safe to shine? Why do I not recognize my own star power, my leadership quality? If that's what I desire, why am I playing it small or playing it safe? or waiting for these opportunities to be handed to me rather than putting myself out there for them to happen. You could be contemplating that. Now, for others of you, you could be doing some work as it relates to your subconscious processing. Your dreams could be quite influential during this time. You could be really deeply thinking about your solitude. You could be thinking about your spiritual practices. The final Mercury retrograde that we will experience in the year 2025 is in November, and it extends from November 9th until November 29th. And this expands over 2 signs. So it starts in the sign Sagittarius and then it ends in Scorpio. So it first starts in your 4th house. So a lot of you could be contemplating your home. If you like where it is that you live, shifts that you can make in order to make it a more expansive place to live, a more soulful place to live. Some of you could be contemplating the messaging that you were taught or told by family, and if it's working for you, if it's giving you the optimistic way of seeing the world that is supportive for your growth forward, your journey forward. And then Mercury will dip into your 3rd house, which could bring, we gotta say it, technical difficulties, issues with your cell phone, issues with your computer, issues with your car, okay, all of that. But a lot of you could just be deep in thought around how it is that you communicate, what it is that you want to communicate about. You are ruled by Mercury. Your 10th house is most likely ruled by Mercury. You are here to communicate and share. And with your ruling planet in the 3rd house, which governs the mind and communication, a lot of you could be contemplating what you want to share on, what you want to communicate about. So Virgo, let's talk about the other energies that you will experience within the year. So let's start with Jupiter, because we start the year with Jupiter in Gemini, which is your 10th house. So from January 1st until June 9th, 2025, you are rocking with Jupiter in the 10th of career and public persona. This is a time for growth. Now, a lot of you are having, Saturn oppositions this year, so growth is not easy, okay? Growth and expanding into new chapters, there's new positions, new opportunities, it's not easy. This year does speak of growing pains, okay? I need to keep it real with you on that. But it is a time around tuning into the big picture. What do I desire? What is my heart's desire in reference to career? Or if you are not working, in reference to my public persona, my passion project, my reputation, what do I want to be known for and known as? Because we do need spaciousness to create. And that's why I see with South Node in the 1st house in Virgo, some of you could be releasing being the one who's always doing it all. Like, not that 1st house has to do with work, but just the energy of Virgo does. So some of you could find, like, I'm so busy doing all these small tasks, I don't have space and time to dream or to grow things in a direction where things feel more spacious and expansive. And so a lot of you can have certain projects built during this time. You could feel like there's opportunities to advance at work. Some of you could be seeking new opportunities within career. Some of you can experience some virality at this time. If you are on social media, you can experience more ebook downloads. Some of you could be making more in sales. You could be experiencing more commissions. You do have some 8th house energy this year as well. And it's just important to know that Jupiter is expanding the 10th house. So contemplate, as you step into 2025, I really want you to consider, what do I desire the most in reference to career, and how am I making that happen? And am I dreaming big enough? Like, am I holding myself back around, could I possibly do that? Could I possibly do that? We're learning kind of how to Pisces this year, your opposite sign, and Pisces energy is a little delusional. So be a little delusional in reference to what could be possible for you. Then on June 9th, 2025, Jupiter leaves Gemini and enters Cancer, which is the sign of Jupiter's exaltation. So this is a beneficial transit for the collective, and where you are receiving maximum luck and blessings is around your friendships, around your communities, around your hopes and dreams. And I want to highlight this because we talked a lot about North Node Pisces and divine partners entering in, but I'm feeling for a lot of you, it's like soul family is entering in. These destined connections are coming into your orbit, not just in romantic context, but like destined friends, destined collaborators, destined partners. And with the energy of Cancer, it feels bonds that are truly nourishing, nurturing for you. There are some people where you are going to look in someone's eye and be like, do I know you? Like, do I know you from a prior lifetime? Like, the energy of Cancer has to do with past and memories. So there could be this energy of feeling safe with people that you've never even met because there's just a degree of familiarity. and be open to those sort of connections. Again, they could be coming in via your groups that you are a part of, your organizations that you are a part of, your social media following. If you are online, you could experience an expansion of your audience at this time, and you're really pouring into it. You know, it feels soulful. And it feels like, honestly, your community, your network, your followers are also pouring into you. And whether it's existing friendships you have in your life or new friends coming into your life, it feels like people that you really feel safe with. You know, they feel like family, truly, like soul family. Some of you could get involved with some sort of organization, a humanitarian cause that you care about, that you're wanting to pour into. Or some of you could just be thinking about the impact that you want to leave, how it is that you want to help people, how it is that you want to support people. This could be top of mind, particularly in the latter half of the year. Now, I do want to say, even though Jupiter leaves midway through the year, your 10th house is still enlivened this year, even when Jupiter departs. That is because from July 7th until November 7th, 2025, Uranus enters Gemini, which for you is your 10th house. So if you are in a career that is not in alignment for you, you don't feel like you can be yourself, some of you could be feeling quite restless around that. Some of you could want to break free if there's been certain challenging relationships with your boss or authority figure. The energy of Uranus could be you wanting to shake things up, you wanting to break free of anything that feels restrictive, anything that tries to tell you how to be or who to be. To thine own self be true energy is alive with Uranus, and it's in the 10th house. So you are wanting your outward reputation or persona to be in alignment with your unique qualities. And so if you are a business owner, you could find with this energy, you're wanting to shake things up, to do things different than your competitors. Or if you work for a company, you could be wanting to shake up the processes, do something different. If you work for a company, you could be wanting to shake up the processes, you know, revolutionize the industry. And I want to highlight that while you may get themes and hints and clues around what that journey will have in store, it's a long journey. It's like for the next 8 years or so, Uranus will be in the 10th. So it's part of a much bigger story, not just 2025, but pay attention to any restlessness, any desire to break free, any desire to disrupt that may surface in the latter portion of this year. And this restlessness, this desire to break free will be the most potent if you have Virgo placements at 0 or 1 degrees. That means you will have a Uranus transit this year, which can feel like a live wire. We want to do something different. We want to rebel. We want to disrupt. We want to break free. Okay, Virgo, we got to say it. And I got to be honest with you because I'm always going to be honest with you. You are buddy-buddy this year with Saturn, which is not the most pleasant energy to be buddy-buddy with. And you will have a Saturn opposition if you have Virgo placements in your chart from 14 to 29 degrees Virgo. You will have a Saturn opposition, and that means these Saturnian themes will be even more accentuated and highlighted within your universe. So what are these Saturnian themes I speak of? Saturn energy can make things hard. It can make us work. It can ask for delayed gratification. So I want to be so straightforward because we were talking about 10th house energy and, you know, growth and shaking things up with the energy of Uranus, new opportunities. But with the energy of Saturn, it's important to know that growth takes structure. You know, to build a building, we need a solid foundation. And so you're playing with both of these energies. So the energy of Saturn, sometimes that growth takes time. Sometimes that growth takes discipline. Sometimes that growth takes responsibility. Sometimes that growth sucks because we have to do the hard thing. And that could be alive when you are having a Saturn opposition. Some of you could be really like squaring up with your imposter syndrome and being like, my imposter syndrome is holding me back. What's important with Saturn is that it's not just being mean to us for no reason. It's not making you work hard and have patience and have delayed gratification for no reason. Like, it is this energy around teaching us discipline, teaching us refinement, and teaching us that good things do take time or that they do take work. For a majority of the year, Saturn is in Pisces, which is your 7th house. So we start the year with Saturn in Pisces. Saturn then enters Aries May 24th. It'll stay there midway through the year until it retrogrades back into Pisces September 1st, where it stays until the end of the year. This is your 7th house. So where you're doing your Saturnian push-ups is around relationships, partnerships, and one-to-one connections. That's where you are doing this work. And so with the energy of Saturn in the 7th house, a lot of you are having a little bit more of a serious approach to your relationships, to your partnerships. A lot of you are not just wanting to date or partner with people just to date or partner with people. You're really wanting to build something. You're really wanting to commit. And with Saturn in the 7th house, a lot of you are being guided to work towards your relationships. Again, relationships are worth fighting for and working for if it's right. And again, your intuition, your discernment will guide you towards whether it's, worth it to invest energy, or whether you're being guided to look at the reality of the situation and witness we're going in different directions, we want different things. Because the energy of Saturn is around things that stand the test of time. And so a lot of you are being guided to look at the hard thing with the energy of Saturn around, is this what I want for the rest of time? Is this who I want to build with and partner with, collaborate with? And again, this could be your spouse, romantic partner, but also like business partner. And a lot of you could be doing the work around how can we nurture this connection? How can we work on our communication? How is it that we can get clear on our plan for the future and getting to where it is that we want to be? That could be the energy of Saturn. Some of you could be elevating to a new level of commitment. You could be getting engaged, getting married, having conversations around this, moving in together, taking the next step of your relationship. And with Saturn in the 7th house, a lot of you are laying down the law, so to speak. You are enacting boundaries. You are saying what it is that you need. You are getting clear with your partners on what it is that you will and will not tolerate. Because boundaries are for you, they are not for other people. Boundaries are for you, they are not for other people. It is a way of respecting and honoring yourself, what it is that you will withstand and allow within your connections. Because when we have weak or leaky boundaries, that is a breeding ground for resentment, for disrespect. And yes, to that person for trampling our boundaries, but also for yourself around, how did I, allow that into my orbit? And so with the energy of Saturn, you got to get clear. So I was saying with Saturn in 7th house, get clear in what you want within the partnership, get clear in what behavior you are asking for, state it so that the people that you are dealing with know your limits and know your boundaries, but know that it's your job to maintain those boundaries. And if they are not being honored, that is your sign to walk away. Truly, sometimes the hard thing is the right thing with Saturn in the 7th house. And that extends beyond just romantic connections, your boundaries with everyone. Because you as a Virgo are someone who's very, very helpful, sometimes to your own detriment. And with the energy of Saturn in your 7th house, a lot of you are learning that no is a complete and full sentence. You are learning that you teach people how to treat you, and that the only way to respond after someone has disrespected you or trampled over your boundaries is by removing yourself from that equation. You don't need to plead, you don't need to over-explain. Your absence communicates everything. And the energy of Saturn, no one is going to maintain your boundaries if you do not. And this is a big year around learning that, especially since Neptune also spends some time in this arena of your chart. If you have Virgo placements in your chart between 27 to 29 degrees Virgo, you, my love, are having a Neptune opposition. So these Neptunian themes are going to be even higher for you, turning up the little dial tone for you, okay? And the thing with Neptune is that whereas Saturn will restrict and clarify and actualize, Neptune will confuse and make murky. And so with the influence of Neptune in your 7th house, and for many of you having a Neptune opposition, it's important to exercise discernment this year. And honestly, in years past, you've had Neptune in the 7th house. I'm sure a lot of you are happy that this transit is almost over. I know I most certainly am. Because Neptune energy, while it can be inspired and imaginative and divine, it also can be very disillusioning. You could have found in years prior, and you may find in subtle ways this year, you build people up to be something that they are not. You put people on pedestals. You view people through rose-colored glasses. And the fall from grace is a steep fall. And you could have dealt with people who were deceptive to you, but you could also deceive yourself. Be cautious of that, where you deceive yourself by seeing what you want to see in your partners and conveniently avoiding what it is that you don't want to see. And the energy of Neptune, be mindful of people who have sob stories. Be mindful of people who dump all their problems into you. The energy of Saturn asks for limits. There are limits to my love. There's limits to what behavior I will take in. And the energy of Neptune, it's hard because you can find you're more compassionate. You see the beauty in people. You see the divinity in people. But you also got to see the reality of people with Saturn in the 7th house as well. So the dates that I would be mindful of this Neptune to Lulu energy is from the beginning of the year until March 30th, at which point Neptune enters Aries. It stays in Aries midway through the year until it retrogrades back into Pisces October 22nd. And so beginning of the year and the end of the year, just be mindful of where it is that you're making excuses for people, where it is that you're seeing this best in people, seeing the potential in people, even if the actuality of the situation is something much different. Be mindful. So Virgo, we have 2 planets temporarily entering Aries this year. Let's start with Saturn. So Saturn, like I highlighted, enters Aries May 24th and it stays until September 1st. For you, this goes into your 8th house, which, like we talked about with that retrograde, it's all around debt and taxes. Some of you could be getting serious around your debt. You know, Saturn energy rewards delayed gratification. So some of you could be setting up on a plan to get ahead on your debt or something of that nature. Not a time that I would fudge the number on taxes. Really not a time that I would do anything shady as it relates to taxes or get rich quick scheme, because Saturn energy can be, consequences. So thinking long term when it comes to the support that's offered to you, when it comes to what it is that you're indebted to. This is also the sector of your chart governing shared resources. So maybe some of you, getting married, like I said, so you might be going through your shared resources, your joint finances, seeing how it is that you guys are working together. If you are married, the 8th house governs your partner's income. So Saturn could go through some restrictions of sort. And again, try not to think of the worst case scenario. Like Saturn energy could just be maybe a new financial goal has opened up for the 2 of you. So you guys are being a little bit more discerning around where your money is going in order to make that dream a reality. And speaking of dreams, Neptune enters Aries March 30th and stays until October 22nd. And with the energy of 8th house, again, be discerning around what your joint finances are being spent on. This is not a time to blindly have faith in your spouse or partner, okay? Again, we could surrender into connection with the North Node Pisces energy while also making sure that we're checking the numbers around joint finances because it's your joint financial future too. This is not a time to do like risky investments or things of that nature. This is not a time to blindly trust an accountant or anyone else to manage your money for you. Ask questions, be discerning. I know I'm talking to the Virgo, so ask questions, get in there. If you are not entering into joint contracts or money with others, I would just say with the energy of Neptune in the 8th house, some of you could be, dealing with shades of grief again. And I'm not saying that you are going to literally experience any loss, but I just see with this 8th house energy alive in South Node, some of you are grieving a prior version of self. You're recognizing that time is going by and you're having to confront some harsh realities around the finality of life, the urgency of life, also with the energy of Saturn in Aries. But with Neptune also being here, you can really see the beauty in transitions and in the passage of time. And 8th house also governs how we merge with others. So you can also think of it in terms of intimacy. And with the energy of Saturn, certainly being, smart, but the energy of Neptune maybe bringing in a spiritual dimension to that. And this can be a focus of healing because all year long, Chiron will be in Aries, thus your 8th house. So you could be really contemplating where you have felt unsafe to merge, to really be intimate, to be seen to a soul level, to surrender. Because if we think of it physically, if we think of it spiritually, that's what 8th house is about, where it is that we receive from others. And again, with Chiron, this can be an arena where you've experienced some pain around where it is that you felt left out, where it is that you felt taken advantage of in some regard. And this can be a focus of healing with Chiron here. We also have an Aries solar eclipse landing here on March 29th. The rest of the eclipses are all about you and relationships, but this one is around where it is that you receive from others, whether it's financially or emotionally. Again, money from others can also be highlighted here. Now, the final planet for us to discuss is that Pluto is in Aquarius all year long. And even though Pluto does not enter Aquarius this year, I still consider this a newer transit because it's at the precipice of this journey. Truly, Pluto will be in Aquarius and thus your 6th house until 2044. which can bring a transformation as it relates to your health. You know, I do see that alive this year with South Node in the first house and Pluto in the sixth. Some of you are revolutionizing how it is that you treat your body. You're revolutionizing your day-to-day routines and rituals. If some of you have been caught up in routines that are not sustainable, you know, it could be catching up with your body to a certain degree. The lack of sleep, the overworking, the over pushing yourself, the under eating, the whatever it is, it could just really be coming to the surface. Some of you could be experiencing a transformation as it relates to your diet, your exercise routines, something like this. So Virgo, what a year. And I want to let you know, as a Virgo rising myself, I am right in here with you on these energies. Hi Virgo, please excuse the brief interruption from editing me. My microphone started malfunctioning towards the end of this video and creating all of these loud crackles and pops. And so I thought I would just give you your soul-centered affirmations here in a voiceover. So essentially, these are all affirmations I crafted for you as you navigate the year ahead, based completely on the transits that you will experience. These are linked in a PDF within the description, which you're welcome to save to your computer or even print if they resonate with you. So the soul-centered affirmations for 2025 Virgo is: I welcome in new iterations of myself. I welcome in soul connections. I accelerate my own growth by intentionally partnering and collaborating with others. It is safe for me to let other people in. I exercise discernment around who is aligned for my path and who is not. I welcome the in-between of growth. I look forward to uncovering new dimensions of myself. I release outdated ways of seeing myself that no longer align with me. I am open to success. It is safe for me to be seen. I see, celebrate, and honor my talents and abilities, and I share them confidently with the world. I trust my intuition around which connections are truly aligned with my pathway forward. I call in connections and collaborations that launch my pathway forward. I call in my soul family. I put in the work to build a healthy, sustainable relationship. I get clear on what I require from my relationships. I have boundaries that I maintain strictly. I am open to growth. I trust in the divine's plan. Virgo, I would love to know what are you looking forward to about this energy? What are you a bit apprehensive about? I know it's quite a mixed bag, astrologically speaking, so I would love to know how this aligns with what it is that you are feeling as you step into this next year. You can let me know below, or my Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. Thank you for spending some time here with me in the Cosmic Corner. Would love to see you around more often. Please subscribe if my style of astrology is in alignment with you. Would love to have more fellow Virgo placements here in the Cosmic Corner. But until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.